Hey, have you ever watched an interview and thought, I can do that? I mean, you were just sipping on your water, minding your business, and something came across your feed. Piqued your interest, you clicked it, it started to play, and as it played, you thought, I really do think I could add something amazing to this conversation, to this interview, to this presentation. I could make this so much better if I was in the room, if I was at that mic. I would love the opportunity to share what I know, the wisdom that I have groomed and lived through and been successful from. Listen, and then you wonder, do I have what it takes to be a podcaster? Do I have what it takes to be a pro at podcasting? Well, wonder no more. That's what we're about to get into. Hey, before I go pro, that's exactly what we're about to talk to. Everything you need to know before you go pro. Listen, this is just going to be the first episode of a series of episodes. But let's get into the layers that we have in this episode. These layers of becoming a pro podcaster. Y'all ready? Let's do it. I'm Marion and I am a podcast pro. Let me take this moment and just say, hey, Joe, that's my co host. Trust he'll be back soon. He's working on something amazing. He's in an amazing season of life. I'm excited for him, but he will be back here to share on I Am a Podcast Pro. Pro? What? Purposeful. First, pro. P, purposeful. Everything that you do needs to have a good reason for why you're doing it. That way you're doing it purposefully. Are resilient. Resilient enough to know, hey, I understand that this is something that holds most people back, but I'm going to look at it as an opportunity to prove exactly what God made in me. That's exactly what being resilient is. Rising to the occasion, above the occasion, beyond the occasion, and then bringing someone else along with you. I'm just saying. Oh, that O is very, very important because you want to be purposeful, you want to be resilient, but you want to stand out. You want to be outstanding as your unique self. Listen, we about to get into it. Before I go pro, you better be ready for this. Before I go pro, there are some layers to this. There are some things that I definitely want to make sure you walk away knowing, embedded in you, that you have these tools to be able to use before you go pro. Before you go pro, let me tell you, being pro, it's the prefix to the layers to being a pro podcaster. And this is from both perspectives. This is from the perspective of being a host and from a perspective of being a guest. You want to make sure that you're being a pro. And that first layer that I want to discuss is you want to be proficient. You want to be talking from your expertise, from your skill, from your success in that skill and that expertise. You want to be competent. See, that proficiency is that competence in the skill of doing talking, sharing, expounding, teaching even others to be able to take a different perspective on that thing that you are so proficient in, and making not just your life better, but helping them to make their lives better. That is what I mean by being proficient. And it's 3 areas that I want you to take the time in this moment to concentrate on. You want to pinpoint what your value is, what you bring to that thing, that value you bring. That third thing, you want to reveal to people what they need to improve in that area. And then you want to tell them what needs to be done. What they need to improve means that you need to show them actually what's not going well in this area. What's impacting or holding back most people in this area? What's negatively impacting most people in this area? That's what you're to reveal. Now that pinpoint your value, you're pinpointing your value in that area will help you to be able to expound on it better, to help people to rise to a better view and understanding in that special thing that only you can do, the way that you do it. Not that you're the only one doing what you do, but the value you bring, the special way that you do what you do, the special way that you teach what you teach, the special way that you maneuver and strategize through being successful in the thing that you do. That is something that you definitely want to pinpoint your value in that thing. And then that assessing what people need to improve also includes you. Assess where in that your niche, your specialty, your uniqueness that you bring to people. Assess, how can I improve this? How do I make this better? Because as you make yourself better, you then share and bring people up to a higher level and make others better. That's why it's important to do that assessment of improving yourself. And this is something that is not one time lived. This is an ongoing life process. That's right. It's something that you're constantly feeding on things and information and people's shared experiences and watching what people have done. Listen, this improvement could happen through watching what someone did wrong or looking at how you have done things wrong. I know I learned from my mistakes. That's what you're supposed to do because no one is perfect. I'll say it again. I learned from my mistakes. That's what you're supposed to do because no one is perfect. That's how you improve. That's how you get better. But through you improving you, it helps you help improve others. And that what you need done, that's that third one. It's like, what do I need to do? What do I need to improve? What do I need done? Because in some capacities, you're going to have to partner with others. In some areas, you're going to need to partner with others. I find, or I've noticed that it's on every level. So when you're beginning, it's great to partner with someone in some of those areas because some areas you may not be proficient in. You may not be an expert in. You may not be skilled in. Or you may find that I don't have time to take care of this component. So I'm going to need to know what areas I can purpose this work out, that I can get someone to come and fill in this gap for me. But you want to know exactly what is this gap that I want filled. You don't want to assign someone to a task and then say, but I thought you were going to do this, this, and this. It's best to approach it already knowing what you need and giving strategic outlines of exactly what you want done, strategic steps of what you want done and what you're expecting. All right, so that's proficient. Let's go to two. Two, provision. You have to have a provision. It's the act of providing and supplying something useful. So you have to vision what that's going to look like. What do I provide? Supply that's useful. What do I provide that's useful? Again, there's another side to this. What do I need supplied and provide that's going to be useful to help me to do what I need to do my part, to reach the masses, to be able to get your message out. As a podcaster and as a guest, you have to have provision. You got to be mindful of who God sends to help you. You got to be mindful of who's coming. Listen to me. Be mindful of who's coming to help themselves. There's a difference. There's a difference between people that are coming to help the mission and move the mission forward, which you happen to be maybe spearheading. There's a difference when people are coming with a mission of their own to only, solely help themselves. I believe that every healthy business relationship or relationship, period, has a give and take to it. It definitely has a give and take. I don't need you to give exactly what I give. It makes no sense if two people in a relationship and both of you can cook like nobody's business, but then that's all that both of you can bring to the table is cooking. But there's no one out there actually making the funds to buy the food. There's no one there who can drive. There's no one there who can just fill in other gaps. You want to make sure there's a yin and yang to the partnership. So you want to make sure that you're providing, but you're also being supplied. Same for them, that you're providing to them, that you're providing to them and you're supplying them what they need, that it's going back and forth, that there is a supply and a provision given both ways. Again, it won't look the same. It doesn't we don't all need the same thing. We may, and in some instances where we need the same thing, we may not need it the same way. So there's a uniqueness to that as well. But you definitely want to be mindful of who God sends to help you versus who's coming to help themselves and their agenda. because they will drain your time, your energy, and your value. Leaving you with a negative balance. It can quickly move, just really quick, it could quickly move to bitterness and not really feeling like, wow, I don't want to share, because when I share, people take and I don't receive anything back. So you have to guard your value, your worth. You have to guard it and pay attention to who you allow in and who you keep at bay, to watch long enough to see if they're actually genuinely interested in bringing value to what you're doing, and see the value in you for you to bring value to them. Now, there are some people who just love to give. As long as you're not taking advantage, cool. But I see that most people, a healthy relationships, both people are benefiting in some way. You gotta, so that means, what do you need to do? You gotta be willing to help others. Wow. You gotta be willing to help others. How do I know when it's healthy for me to help someone? Because I'm a giver, I had to learn that everyone does not deserve me giving to them, one, and I am not equipped to or purposed to help everyone. Let me expound on that. You don't want to find yourself giving all into someone so much so that you have nothing left, which then not only impacts you, it impacts your family, your finances, your mental stability, your emotional stability. You want to be intelligent in how you are helping people and who you help. So I have something biblical that I line it up with. And if it agrees with this, then I can move forward with helping. This is one of the things. This is a major biblical principle that I use to decide whether I'm helping someone or not. This is not the only one, but this is one. I'll share one with you. And this one comes from Matthew 7:6. I want to read it because I want to make sure I'm not imparting my own understanding, but I'm reading exactly what it says. Do not give that which is holy to dogs, and do not throw your pearls before pigs. It even explains why. For they will trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces. For me, they will trample my giving under their feet. They will trample my value under their feet. You're just going to run all over it like it's nothing. Because a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot, excuse me, because there are some people that are plagued with privilege. They just think you owe it to them. Yeah, it doesn't work like that anymore. There was a time. I didn't know. I didn't see it. Now I know better. I do better. And that's why I'm here to share. And then they will turn and tear you to pieces. Same person reached out a hand and said, hey, can you help me? I need this, this, and this. Sure. Soon as they're done, oh, they all right. I mean, I thought they were going to do this, and I thought they were going to wait. Hold on. Are we now minimizing my contribution, my giving? Are we now tearing down my name when you explain how I gave? Are we devaluing what I gave? Cool. So I think you have an understanding about that provision. Thirdly, I want to discuss productive. Productive. That's achieving and producing a significant amount of results. I really paused on being productive because I don't want you to confuse being productive, producing a significant amount of results, with being busy, which can also be camouflaged underneath that. What can be camouflaged underneath that being busy is actually procrastinating. You're actually avoiding doing the things that you need to do to be that amazing person behind that mic, whether on the side of the mic as a host or on the other side of the mic as a guest or as a presenter. I'm sorry, this mic has a couple of sides to it. It's very important that you don't confuse busy work with being productive. Productivity breeds results, tangible evidence of the work that you put in. The first thing I would say is start where you are. Start with what you have. As a podcaster, I have started with what I had, and I have started where I am. It has grown. I actually have somewhere to look back to and go, wow, when I started, it was this. And then it went to this, and then it went to that. I started with one podcast. I now have three. I was saying four because I'm thinking of another opportunity. You don't have to wait. I want to pause right here and say, don't wait on anyone to give you a stage. In today's time, the stage is just one click away. Make your own stage, make your own space to share the value that you bring. But start with what you have and start with where you are. Listen, again, in the word, Zechariah 4:10. Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. I say this to those who have been watching or intaking the episodes of I Am a Podcast Pro. Don't just sit there and observe. At the end of this, I'm going to tell you how you can start to implement immediately. You may not want to start an entire podcast. You want to start to walk out grooming yourself to be that authority voice in your niche. And you can start before a podcast. You can start, and starting like this will build your community before the podcast drops. Just hold on to the end and I'm going to give it to you. Listen, but in this quote, it's literally saying the Lord rejoices in seeing the work begin. The Bible starts with, in the beginning. It has to start somewhere. You may be in a position where it can start in a studio. But for me, it started in the corner of my home with my laptop. That's my beginning. It's grown. Now I have shorts out. I have 2 other podcasts, all on, hold on, my platform network. I found that I'm capable of a lot more than I thought, that I knew myself in the past to have been, but that only came to my revelation through doing, through actually starting and doing. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. So if that pleases the Lord to begin, I'm just saying. And if you need help, please email us. I Am a Podcast Pro is here to assist. That's why we started this platform. Listen, keep these keys in place to make being productive simple. Set a schedule for yourself. Set an outline of exactly what you want to do. In that outline, start with one thing. Don't allow that outline to overwhelm you. Start with one thing that you already have. Okay, well, I have the key components of this. I can do this. After you start doing those things, get your SOPs in place. When you go to a restaurant, I'm sorry, I started thinking of something I wanted to eat. When you go to a restaurant and you order your favorite meal, the thing that keeps bringing you back is the fact that when you go, it's the same taste, it's the same texture, it's the same aroma, it's the same look, it's the same everything. It just is a masterpiece that you enjoy to partake. That's what that SOP does. That's that recipe that they're using to always present to you the same quality that you enjoy to eat. That's what you want your podcast to be, or even your being a guest on someone's podcast. You want to have your certain things that your people know you for that are always in place. It's an outline of how you do things. This is the recipe to how I do this, to make sure that you're always presenting that amazing meal to people. Besides that schedule, that outline, that SOP, that most important thing is the commitment. And I would say the commitment versus having a goal. Because with the commitment is, what am I responsible for? Because that's what I have control over. The goal would be, and I'm going to post, and by the end of the month, I'm going to have this many viewers. I can't control who's going to, oh, subscribers, I apologize, or views. I can't control who's going to view, who's going to hit the subscribe button. I can't. You cannot control that. So I would say over a goal, really look to your commitment to serve and to show up, your dedication to groom yourself to be better, to help others be better. That's that commitment that I'm talking about over a goal of what others are going to do in response to what you're sharing. All right, so those are the first 3 levels that I will share. So this is part 1. We just made this part 1. I'm telling you, I have more here. This is part 1 of this special series that will come out as needed. As needed. I'm very excited for Before I Go Pro. Before I Go Pro. You know who I gotta say it. You know who this is, right? You know who this is. So we definitely want to dedicate this episode to Frankie Beverly of Frankie Beverly and Mays. Because we are one. And he gave us nothing but happy feelings. Listen, this is I Am a Podcast Pro. Thank you for taking the time to invest in yourself, your growth, your betterment in speaking and representing that thing that you do so well. Please follow us on all social media platforms at I Am a Podcast Pro. Email us with your questions. We are here for you. And I Am a Podcast Pro gmail.com, right? It'll be in the description box. I apologize. I'm really like, oh, I didn't get to the rest of it. But this has now become a series that will be released over time. Thank you so much. Again, have a great night. What else can I say? You got this. Let's get it.